This week we're doing basics for beginners for drawing, and we are starting at the very beginning with how you can see the world around you in a way that will let you make art. So we're starting with references. I think people don't realize that artists always use references. I mean, unless you don't have access to references, you're going to use references. So this is an example from our microscope video where I used Samantha. I had her pose for all the kids, took pictures, and then I stuck her in, and she was my reference for how to kind of lay everything out and how the poses were going to work. Sam is doing our example for references. She was building a castle in Minecraft. She said to Marnie, I need to find a skull for my emu castle. And Tyler was listening and said, wait, you're what? You're what? She's like, you need a skull for your emu castle? And it turns out that Sam had gotten emo and emu mixed up. And so what we're gonna do here is an emu. So she did research for an emu, chose a bunch of pictures for references, and now she's looking for references for emo. She narrowed it down. She decided she wanted a girl, and then found one that had the aspects of your typical emo person that she wanted to duplicate. And now she's loading all of her reference images into Procreate, where she's going to draw her emu, and then she's going to get to drawing. So what'd you do, Sam?
I saw that there was like a long neck, kind of, so I added that long neck. And the legs, I just figured out that it was a cool pose.
Yeah, and you wanted a cool pose?
Yeah.
Sassy.
Pretend she's putting hands on her hips.
That's the pose. If she had hands, they'd be on her hips.
Mommy asked for a tongue. In the picture I had for the emo reference, the girl had a piercing. So I added a piercing to the tongue.
Okay, what were you just circling there?
I was circling the body.
And why?
So you know why I'm drawing that shape.
Because you drew the body kind of the pointy egg shape, but you had it going horizontally straight. And then you realized, because you had references, that on an actual emu, it would be pointed down. And so then you tipped her booty down.
Why I made the eyes like that is because in a lot of the pictures I looked up, they look kind of angry. So I made the eyes look kind of angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're doing the eye makeup. You can't be emo without the eye makeup. And then you started drawing a wing, and then you looked back at your reference and noticed what?
The emus don't have wings.
Well, they have wings, but they don't fly. So then you had the low-key wing down there. So you picked your favorite pictures of emus, and you had a really good one of a head and a good one of body shapes, and then you had the cute little babies hanging out down there. What else did you use the references for?
I used the references to pick colors, too. I just got the color of the head and put it in the head, so...
Awesome.
Then I scribbled, guess why? Because there's a Gaussian blur effect.
You did an ombre because her hair's got that fade. Pulled the color for the beak.
Put it on.
References are very, very helpful.
And I got a nice pink for the tongue.
And then you were trying to decide how to floof it up a little bit and realized, based on the references, that they have kind of shaggy tails. So you added the shaggy booty.
Shaggy booty. Shaggy,
Oh, good, the shaggy booty song. You know what this video is missing? It's the shaggy booty song. There you are. Good job. I love it. So construction lines are lines that help you lay out a drawing. This one is a still life that I just sort of threw a bunch of stuff together. And I first broke it out in a grid. The grid's going to come in later, but now I'm just kind of showing off the shapes. So you can see if you think about it as a ukulele, then it's harder. But if you think about it as 2 circles and a rectangle, you can kind of get your head around it better.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you to get the rough shape and the relationships between the shapes into your drawing if you kind of do these super rough drawings. If you're in a computer and you're doing construction lines, then you can have it on a separate layer and then you can fade it out. If you were doing it traditional art style, like with pencils or pens, then you can use a lighter colored pencil and you can do real light construction lines and then bring in darker colors, or a pen and then you can erase your pencil lines. If you can use pencils and then you can go over it with pen and then you can erase once the pen's dry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just blocking in basic shapes. I'm trying to keep it to rectangles, circles, and ovals. I want to make sure that I'm drawing all of these parts in the same box as they are in the reference image. And if you don't have a printed image, then you can just think about what you're looking at. Think about where the middle is. Start in the middle and work your way out. Usually gets you more center in your paper. And if you could take a moment to look at the whatever you're trying to draw and think about breaking it in half and then breaking the halves in half and what is in each kind of quadrant of what you're looking at, it makes it a lot easier to get everything where it needs to be and get the sizes accurate, the relationships appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So now we're doing construction lines, heads. So this is a cute picture of the 2 of you guys from last year. So I'm going to be redrawing it. So I broke up the original photo into the grid, and now I have that grid to sort of lay out where your heads are. So I can line up her eye with the line. I can see kind of how much of the grid your head shape is taking up. I can see where on the grid your arm is. And then this is head construction lines. So these are basically egg shapes, and they have the line down the middle where, like, the middle of the face, a line across where the eyes go, which is halfway, basically the middle of the egg shape, and then halfway in the middle of the bottom of the chin and the eyes is the bottom of the nose, and then another halfway is the middle of the mouth, and then the ears go in between the eyes and the nose on the sides. And as the head turns, obviously the features are going to move. If you draw like a circle or an egg before you're drawing the face, it kind of is a lot easier to figure out where the features go. People, oftentimes, when you think about a face, you think the eyes are at the top of the face. And so people will draw the eyes at the top of their circle, but eyes are actually in the middle of the head. So sometimes having the construction lines is super duper helpful. And then if you're doing somebody looking up, then you can have your construction lines for the eyes and stuff curved up, and they'll be all chin. If they're looking down, then you'd have all forehead, and you'd have those lines curving down. If they're looking to the side, then it would be curving to the side. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
I wasn't like babbling endlessly, making no sense. So now I'm going to finish up this drawing of you guys. Just gonna darken all of the lines that are the right lines. I did the construction lines for this one with blue colored pencil, and then I erased it and then
looks so
brought
funny.
in the darker pencil.
It looks so funny.
It looks so funny. You guys are so cute. Construction lines, bodies.
So for this one, the thing that I'm drawing is gonna need some context. So my cousin made this weapon in a video game that he calls the Yeet Saber. And if you touch it, you get flung. And he says that whenever you touch it, you get flung into the next universe, which he said was Underswap, which is an Undertale AU, where all the roles are swapped. And then he had these models of like plushies of these 2 characters, Vanny and Glitchtrap, and they got hit by the Yeet Saber, so they got flung into Underswap. And I was like, wait, I want to draw that now. So here is Underswap, Glitchtrap, and Vanny. I just kind of do a circle for the head. You can add a chin if you want. You don't have to.
Yeah, the little egg pointy part.
Yeah, and then you like segment it like Molly did. And then you add a trapezoid with a circle for the body and hips.
Yeah, I like the trapezoid. It's a good shape.
Yeah.
And then you add arms and legs with like sticks and circles.
Yeah, you use a little circle for the hips too. And then, yeah, the blobs for the hands and stuff. This is a good beginner body shape construction line setup with the trapezoid and the circle and then the stick figure. It's like a slightly improved stick figure situation.
And then you go in with the lines, tracing the basic shapes.
You're really good at clean line work, I must say.
So when I wanted to try the construction lines, Ty showed me that, but she didn't show me the chin part. So I don't do the chin part, but I
At
do
the
the
time,
rest.
I didn't do the chin part. That kind of
Okay.
developed as my style developed.
So now Ty has chins.
Okay.
That's good. That way we can tell your drawings apart.
Now just coloring.
So if you wanted to have an anatomically correct construction lines for a body, then you can look up the proportions. You just Google construction lines and you'll get a lot of examples of other ways to draw construction lines. But the modified stick figure, I think, is great for beginners. It's very accessible. And once you kind of work out where the body shapes are and then you just make them thicker, you're 90% to a body there, you know?
Yeah.
Artists always say that the most important thing is practice, practice, practice. But I think it's good to have some direction in your practice and not try to do too much all at once. So we wanted to do a basics video that was sort of the basicest basics. And that's what this was.